Fun fact, too much water is bad for your kidneys, but we all know water is great for the body. Just like too much fruit is actually too much sugar for the body, and we all know fruit is good for you. Basically, anything that's good in the insecticide form turns into a bad thing. Except one thing though, laughter. Laughter is actually good for you. In fact, study shows that laughter and humor can have a positive effect on your health. So that goes into my topic in today's video. Redd Foxx. This man can make anyone bust out into laughter. And if you don't believe me, I dare you to watch any of his stand-ups. And I guarantee you won't last 5 minutes. Real quick before we get started, let's take a second to announce our giveaway. To enter, follow us on Instagram and comment done under this video. I will be announcing the winner when this channel gets to 2,000 subscribers. While I still have you here, I want you to consider supporting us on Patreon. We have some exclusive videos that will not be featured on YouTube. Now, let's cue the intro. Born John Sanford on December 9th, 1922 in St. Louis, Missouri. John's father, Fred Sanford Sr., would end up leaving his family when John was only 3 years old. John's mother, Mary Carson, she would end up moving the family to Chicago, Illinois in the early 30s. They would end up moving in with their grandmother, who would help Mary raise John and his older brother Fred Jr. July 27th, 1939, John had a chance to perform on a radio show as part of their amateur hour. And a fun fact, Redd Foxx actually started off as a singer, but according to Redd Foxx, he said that he realized that he was funny looking and actually started telling jokes after that. So at this point, he started doing stand-ups in nightclubs, and this is where he would adopt the name Redd Foxx. His comic style was raunchy, but people would like it because it was something new or different, as you can say. In the early 40s, Redd would drop out of high school at the age of 16 and move to Harlem, New York to make it big in the show business. He would end up finding a job at a place called Jimmy Chicken Shack, and this is where he would meet and become close friends to a young cat named Malcolm Little, who would later to be known as Malcolm X. These two would hustle the streets together, and they was known as Detroit Red and Chicago Red. Detroit Red being Malcolm Little, Chicago Red being Redd Foxx. They was hustling together for a while, but Malcolm would get in more trouble by making larger robberies, and eventually Red would distance himself away. Although these two were never on bad terms. Red would continue to perform in nightclubs, and Malcolm would end up getting arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. While in prison, he would educate himself on reading books on race, religion, history, literature, and biology. He would convert over to Islam, and in prison, Malcolm Little would change his name to Malcolm X. It would be more than 20 years before these two had reunited. July 5th, 1956, Redd would get married to Jean Harris. Although this is his second marriage, his first one ended in 1951. His wife Jean was a showgirl and a dancer. Redd would meet LaWanda Page, who was his wife colleague, and they would end up becoming real close friends. Now, Redd is the first black comedian to ever play in front of a white audience on the Las Vegas Strip. After making history, Redd was signed a long-term contract and released a series of comedy albums that instantly became a cult classic. January 14th, 1972, Redd Foxx would receive his big break when he would land the starring role as Fred Sanford on NBC News show Sanford & Son. This show was an American version of the British show Steptoe and Son. Now, Sanford and Son will share light on life in Black America through the eyes of a father and son duo living in South Central Los Angeles. Now, a fun fact, when this show aired, Jim Crow laws had just ended about 10 years before, so you know a lot of black actors wasn't getting paid what they was really worth. Red Foxx would base his character, Fred Sanford, on his brother. Red would play a man that was in his 60s, but in fact, he was a decade younger than that. Red would use his role to give opportunities to his friends such as LaWanda Page, Slappy White, Gregory Sierra, and Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid. 1974, Red would no-show tapings for the new season of Sanford and Son. By missing these tapings, Red was sued by Tandem Productions for $10 million. That's about $52 million in today's money. In 1975, Red Foxx would quit Sanford and Son for lack of pay. However, Sanford and Son was the #1 show on NBC for 6 years. In fact, they're the reason why the Brady Bunch went off the air. With the show being #1 for 6 years and taking down a top show, Red Foxx wanted what was his, and he also wanted the recognition. Sanford and Son never won any award or ever been nominated. A #1 show for 6 years that never been nominated. That's crazy. But it's not just Sanford and Son. It's other black shows as well, like The Jeffersons, Good Times. They never even got a mention in the Emmys. At this point, Red Foxx is tired. He's stressed out from all the back and forth. He's felt like he's being used. And on top of all that, he felt like he's being blackballed as being difficult to work with.
You making any plans to do any more television shows? Or are you through with television now?
No, I think television through with me. I've been away from television 2 or 3 years and no one's calling me to do anything. I guess they think that I'm just Fred Sanford, and so if they don't have a part for Fred, there's nothing else left. So Red is dead, even without Fred, you know. So I know I could do some other parts, some character parts, but no one gives me that buzz, you know. So I just work here in the clubs, because a lot of actors can't go in a nightclub and do an hour, hour and a half alone, but I can.
In 1980, Red Foxx would return to NBC to shoot the spin-off show Sanford that aired from March 15, 1980 to July 10, 1981. The show only lasted 2 seasons. Red Foxx would take a hiatus from acting until 1986 when ABC would offer Red Foxx his own sitcom show. But the show will only last 13 episodes due to declining ratings. In 1983, Red Foxx would file bankruptcy. Most of his career earnings went towards divorce settlements. In 1974, while waiting a divorce from Gene Harris, Red Foxx will reportedly spend over $150,000. This included $10,000 monthly payments to his ex-wife while waiting for the divorce to go through. He will also spend $300,000 in a divorce settlement in 1981. In 1991, Red Foxx made a comeback with the TV show that had the potential to replace The Cosby Show, CBS new series called The Royal Family. This show starred Red Foxx, Della Reese, and a young Lorenz Tate. This show was also created, written, and produced by Eddie Murphy. October 11th, 1991, Red Foxx would suffer a heart attack while on set. He was taken to the hospital, but after 4 hours to no luck, Red Foxx would sadly pass away at the age of 68. Reportedly at the time of his death, Red Foxx owed more than $3.6 million in taxes.
And this man says, "Where is Red?" And I said, "He's having an interview with Entertainment Tonight." I said, "But he doesn't have any lines here. He just has to walk. If he's supposed to walk past, he should be in here to walk past." So he goes in there, stops their shooting, and brings Red out. And when Red gets out there and finds out all he has to do is walk across the back of this that anybody could have done, he becomes livid. And he falls. Well, he was always doing pratfalls. And I thought that's what he did. Everybody thought that's what he did. And he was laying on the floor, and I leaned down to him, and I put my hands on him. He said, "Get my wife, get my wife. Get my wife, get my..." I said, "Somebody get paramedics and somebody go get Mrs. Foxx." And they went and got her. And they pronounced him dead. And they put him in the ambulance, and we all got in our cars and followed him to the hospital. And he came back and stayed for 4.5 hours. Now we're all sitting in the lobby of the hospital. And the doctor comes out and says, "Mrs. Foxx, we've done all that we can do, and your husband is gone." And standing this close were two of the producers. And they said, "What are we gonna do with this script?" This script was written for Red and Della. So who are we gonna get to? Who's gonna replace? She's sitting right here. They just told her that her husband was dead. And I went crazy.
Red Foxx influenced a lot of comedians who we consider legends to this day. He influenced the likes of Chris Rock, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and Jamie Foxx, to name a few. Red Foxx is easily considered to be one of the greatest comedians to ever do it. Having an amazing catalog in films, TV shows, and stand-ups, it's no wonder why he's considered to be the greatest of all time. Thanks to all the subscribers for watching this video, and to all that's not a subscriber. If you like what you see and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button. It's free. And while you're sitting here listening, you should go ahead and check out a few more videos that I think you will enjoy. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.